Energy affects us, and at times it can be so intense. What we do with this energy around us is everything. So, say something happens that is unsettling or disturbing or disruptive to your peace. There's an opportunity in that moment to be at cause or at effect. You can either control the dynamic, which is being at cause, or you can be affected or impacted by the energy, which is being at effect. When people remain at cause, they remain in control. They remain self referent. They recognize their own ability to shift the situation to their own benefit. When people are at effect, they are subject to the emotional intensity that is occurring in that moment. And this is where meltdowns and spiral downs and depressive episodes and anxiety attacks occur. The individual is so affected by external circumstances that their world seems to be falling apart. We want to learn to activate our power when energetic or emotional intensity occurs. In order to do this, we have to program our internal response system to redirect the energy quickly. In other words, we want to have an internal set of protocols that become activated immediately when there's a problem. So, when there is an experience that could potentially be problematic, we want to remain in control of that situation and navigate it for our highest good. I was speaking to someone who shared a situation where someone walked by them and shoulder checked them hard. Now, the person knew this individual didn't like them. They could sense apathy, jealousy, hatred, or some kind of energy from the individual, but it was totally confirmed when the individual shoulder checked them. The person I was talking to said, I was so mad. I wanted to punch the individual in the face. Have you ever been so mad? You know what I mean? Just so annoyed, so angry, so frustrated, so ticked off, so emotionally dysregulated, like this person I'm talking about. As humans, we all get this way from time to time. But what we do with this level of intensity is, it is either the thing that makes us or breaks us in the moment. How we handle it is critical. Do you act out when this type of thing happens, when you're so annoyed, so pissed off with someone? Do you allow the experience or the person to get the best of you? Do you allow them to get under your skin? I'm pretty sure if somebody shoulder checks you, I'm pretty sure they wanted to get under your skin. I'm pretty sure if that happens, if they give you the dirty look or the evil eye, or they walk by you and knock into you or whatever, sit in your seat, whatever it is, it's designed to aggravate you, right? It's designed to start a fight and get you flustered at the very least. Um, don't let them. I know it's hard, but why give away our power to people who just want to piss us off and ruffle our feathers? So it's super important to redirect the energy right in the moment. So let's say an event happens, there's an occurrence, and it could come in a variety of forms, such as a conversation with someone or a memory of an injustice, or it could be a world event. It could be a dream that left you shook or any perceived emotional setback. Whatever it is, when the intensity shows up, we should acknowledge it. It's not helpful to ignore it. So go ahead and acknowledge it. Feel what you feel and notice how you feel. Go ahead and witness yourself. Then nourish and nurture yourself. So this may look like this. It may be saying something like, hey, it's cool. Or I'm sorry this is happening right now. You're saying this to yourself. Or you might say something like, it's going to be okay, regardless to what it feels like right now. So you are acknowledging the fact that you're not comfortable, that you've become unsettled, but you're also nourishing and nurturing yourself right in the moment. So after acknowledging the emotional intensity, go into problem solving mode. Don't skip feeling into the situation. Feelings must be acknowledged. However, after you acknowledge those feelings, move forward with the intention and redirection. So let me explain this before I move on. We don't want to suppress or ignore emotion because that will keep us stuck in fight or flight, and it will create resentment and probably some low level to high level anxiety because there's no outlet for the emotion that you're feeling, right? We don't want to pretend. We don't want to be fake. We want to be real. If we feel anger and we can acknowledge it and talk about it. But the other thing we don't want to do is fixate or ruminate on problems without any kind of solution, because then we loop in the conscious, and then that will bring up, that activates all the previous subconscious stuff that we never really dealt with, and that was buried. So if we have a current situation and we don't handle it well, it will activate all dormant pain, suffering, annoyance, frustration, and bring it to the surface. That's why it's so many of us go from 0 to 10 or see red immediately, because of all the past trauma, pain, heartbreak, etc., that wasn't processed appropriately. It gets reactivated in the moment of current emotional intensity. That's why how we handle the emotional intensity in the moment is critically important. It's everything. So we want to acknowledge it so we're not suppressing, but we also don't want to fixate or ruminate, which causes a looping. Okay. So after acknowledging, nurture yourself by saying, you know what, it's going to be okay. I eat problems for lunch. I've got this one way or another. I'm going to get through this. It's all going to be okay. And then you go into problem solving mode, which means we're not going to stay stuck in this issue or the situation. We're going to find solutions, and we're going to find them quickly. This creates new neural paths in your brain so that your brain remains healthy, so that your nervous system remains calm, so that the whole team, your brain, your body, your energy, your spirit is in problem solving mode. Your cells, your organs, your blood, your bones, everybody's on board because of what you're choosing to do in this moment, the way you're choosing to conceptualize the situation as, yeah, it's a problem, but it's a problem I can fix. One way or another, I'm going to solve it. My feelings are okay. This is happening. I'm acknowledging it. I'm not ignoring it, but I'm also being proactive, and I'm taking full responsibility for my health and my wellness and my healing. So, what are the next steps? Let's figure it out. So, give yourself permission to protect the fort, and the fort is you. Your own well being and your emotional health is your own fortress. Allow yourself to shift the energy and recalibrate and recode to a more grounded space. If your foundation was discombobulated by an experience, relay that foundation and launch from a higher energetic space. Here's an example of what this would look like. So let's say that you walked outside of your home and you saw your family pet laying in the road after being struck by a car. And let's say that your pet is still alive but suffering. As unsettling as this event would be, you know that you have to act quickly if there's any possibility of saving the animal's life. Sitting there and having a meltdown is not going to save the animal. And complaining about the reckless driver who didn't have the decency to stop or come and let you know that their animal's been hit, that doesn't help anything. It doesn't help the animal. It doesn't help you calm down. So you've got to self-regulate very quickly in the moment, right? Sitting there and doing nothing does not help at all. But you also have to be proactive and you have to act quickly. So, although you might approach the animal with kindness, compassion, and nurturing tones, at the same time, you probably need to pick that animal up, get it out of the street, You might have to get them into your car, and you have to get them to a vet immediately. This all has to happen very quickly, right? In real time, if you're going to save your animal's life. So just notice in this moment, you're feeling emotional intensity, you're feeling rage, you're feeling sad, you're feeling concerned, you might be feeling fear. There's all kinds of emotions happening right there in the moment. And yet, if you're going to save your pet's life, you also have to get assertive, and you might have to get downright aggressive. You have to pick your animal up, get them in the car, and you don't have time to be thinking about the reckless driver. You've got to pay attention to the road. You might have to get through, there's red lights coming, so you might have to press on the gas quickly so you can get through those greens and yellows fast, right? All at the same time, you might need to call a family member and say, hey, get the vet, and call them, let them know I'm there's an emergency, I'm on the way, I'm bringing our pet, this, that, and the other happened. You might have to call a neighbor to watch your kids. It's all happening very quickly, right? And you haven't necessarily been trained for this, but your fight or flight reactive system has been activated. Now, you can either make the most of that fight or flight, that adrenaline that's coursing through your veins, and, your activated amygdala, which is probably sensing fear. You can make the most of that, or you can spiral down and do nothing except create more pain for yourself. So you pick the animal up. Let's say you do that, and you get the animal into the car. Time is of the essence, and there is no space to waste time or energy. In an effort to save the animal's life, you may be very aggressive in terms of picking the animal up and getting it into the car. This may actually hurt the animal that's already wounded. Your intention isn't to hurt the animal. Your intention is to save its life by any means necessary. So it's this delicate dance of trying to be gentle and kind and comforting, and yet at the same time, you've got to get this animal to the vet so that you can save its life. Your emotional state will certainly be heightened in this situation, but you also have to maintain focus while driving to the vet. You have to communicate what happened once you arrive, because time is of the essence. And all of this requires a level of self-regulation in the middle of disaster. So imagine the pet is you. Imagine the pet is your emotional state that has just become sideswiped, discombobulated, bushwhacked, hijacked, dysregulated by a situation that maybe you weren't expecting or anticipating, but here it is. It's happening right now in your experience. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to heal the situation? How are you going to redirect the energy so that it serves your highest good? There's a drama happening, or some kind of problems, or some kind of chaos. How can you maintain a sense of control in order to create beneficial outcomes? You've got to redirect the energy. Regardless to how the energy presents itself, stay grounded and redirect that energy. You single-handedly can recharge the situation. You can recode anything. You can recalibrate after setback, and you can redistribute energy as needed in order to remain self-regulated, to remain grounded, and you can remain at cause in every situation that comes into your experience. Choose moment by moment to redirect the energy.